Hello, welcome to Release Your Wings. Tonight we're talking about trust. Is that an issue in your life? I'm Dan Bagley, and I'm interviewing once again Shireen Chadha. Good evening, Shireen.
Good evening, Dan.
So how do people find it easier to trust? What are some of the elements?
I was thinking that if people are not trusting, then they have a very good reason. Because if your trust is misplaced, or if you misplaced your trust in the wrong person or in the wrong situation, or if it was misused, then it's very hard to go back and trust.
So within that, how do we trust easier if we've been hurt? Or how do we make ourselves more trustworthy? They may be two sides of the same coin.
Actually, they are two sides of the same coin. I feel that we first have to trust ourselves. And then we have to become trustworthy, and then worry about trusting other people.
Now, I know you come from such a spiritual background that trusting yourself probably is an extension of trusting in God, that things work out if I maintain integrity and so on. Is that accurate?
Yeah, actually, I love the phrase, "In God we trust."
So you like money?
And the reason I like the phrase "In God we trust" is because I feel that if I trust God, then somehow I know that any situation, however the situation, that there is benefit in it. And there has to be that inherent understanding that whatever I'm going into is going to be beneficial.
So even if it's a small setback, it will be beneficial if I trust in the greater picture.
Exactly, exactly. You know, I feel in any case, if I'm not successful in something, that success is merged in me not being successful. Because you don't know what is the gift that is in there. If I have a preconceived notion of what I need to get from this situation, then I don't know what is it that the gift is going to be for me.
Exactly. So a lot of people have trouble with this because they say, oh, wow, if God would just give me what I want, then everything would work out. But sometimes that no to our prayers is the best answer we could get.
Right, right. And also I feel that before we look for to answer that question, that I'm asking God for something, I feel we ask for pennies. Even if I'm asking for $1 million, I'm asking for pennies. Because for me, God is the ocean. He's the ocean of love. He's the ocean of peace. He's the ocean of all of those things. And so if I'm asking Him for something, it has to be that I experience love, I experience peace, not the few pennies I'm looking for.
Got it.
Whether it's the next best relationship or the next best job or whatever it is, those are important, but not as important as experiencing the original nature of myself as love and peace and all of those things. So I know I digressed a little bit.
No, but that's a great answer, because it's almost compared to infinity. Anything you ask for is paltry of that, or probably not in your best interest in the grand scheme of how life flows.
Right, right. And we have to be really careful, because if that is my only context I'm living in, that the next $1 million or the next relationship, then I am really shortchanging myself.
Yeah, I can think of that in terms of like coming on through high school, wanting to get my letter jacket was the epitome of success. And now, of course, much older, I look back and go, yeah, it's nice that I did that, but the real thing I learned was how to stay with it, how to play football in Florida's heat and stick with the program and improve.
Exactly, exactly. So I feel that if I trust myself, and if I'm genuine and honest, and here when I mean honest is whatever I say, I feel the same thing and I do the same thing. That's what I mean by honesty. You were talking about it as integrity.
The integrity is more than just being truthful, it's walking the walk.
Yeah, so when I am honest, then I feel that every road I tread is a road paved with gold, because my intentions and my actions are so right that whatever happens, it's going to be okay.
Which is the ultimate trust of, even though it appears to be different, something is coming from this.
Right, even though I'm not getting the results I'm looking for, that I have to trust that there is benefit merged in whatever is happening.
Yeah, that's nice. How do we get more trust from those that we'd like to be trusted by?
I feel being genuine is one of them, and also I feel without honesty that you cannot have trust. And you were talking about integrity, but the other aspect I feel that people should trust me is that I am, in a way, always I have a consistent behavior. You know, I'm not like erratic. One moment I'm this, and one moment I'm this, and one moment I say I'm going to do something, and one moment I don't show up, and all of those things. And so even if I can't do something, if I say I can't do it, then I'm like consistent. There's consistency in my behavior.
So part of that form of integrity is being good to your word, not how you feel in the moment.
Right, right.
So, you know, so many people say, well, I have a hard time sticking with this plan, it's just so difficult, or I fall off my diet all the time, because they're judging based on how they feel in the moment. Ooh, my mouth wants this right this moment, as opposed to, I made a decision, I won't eat this, whatever this food is.
Right, right. The other thing I've noticed about trust is it's not enough that I'm clever. You know, that we ride too much on our cleverness. I can analyze so much, I can, you know, one-up man someone, I can do all of those things, but it's not enough with that. That I feel if I really want people to trust me, I should have merciful feelings for everyone.
So that cleverness often translates in getting the last word or being, quote, right.
Right.
And that's such an interesting thing, because very often being the smartest, quote, smartest person in the room is not the smartest person in the room, because trust is eroding in that thing.
Right, right. You're just coming off as, when
is
he
arrogant,
leaving, arrogant, and when is he leaving the room. And it's wonderful you're saying that, because I feel ego always erodes trust. My ego always erodes other people's trust in me.
So in that ego, part of trust, it seems to me, is I believe that the other, or the other believes that I have an intention, a motivation to do well by them for mutual benefit. And that ego stance creates a hierarchy. My need is greater than your need.
Right.
I see that in couples sometimes, you know, which one's going to win the argument. And I mean, the trust, I don't know if I can trust him, comes out of that, I think.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting what you brought up about my need being greater than your need. I feel that there is a root stem, a seed for all of these things, and that seed is a feeling of inferiority. And I try to camouflage it as I'm superior, you know, that I'm better. That I'm going to do a lot of things in life to prove that I'm better. And I have to really understand that. That you know, that seed, I have to understand that, because I feel it makes that inferiority, which actually camouflages as superiority many times, but actually the root is always inferiority. I feel it makes us work a lot harder than we actually are supposed to, in the wrong direction, in the wrong place.
So sometimes we cover up our insecurity by acting like we're superior, or throwing power around when we have it, or buying clothes, cars, etc. we cannot afford, to try to appear better. Now there's a double bind in that, because if you get the surface level approval, the apparent trust, there is a little program that says, yeah, but they don't really know that I'm up to my ears in debt, or they really don't know, you know, it's all about this. But if you don't get it, you go, oh my goodness, even with all of this, I can't get the approval that I want. So that external validation is probably a little shakier than it appears.
Right, definitely. It is a foundation built on sand. Because I feel we do so many things because I want to prove I'm better.
So, but you know, sometimes people are, how to say this so it doesn't turn off good deeds of people, but sometimes people are doing good things for the wrong reasons. I want the recognition. I want to feel like, I can remember as a teenager, as a high school student, I was often the president of the club because I knew if I was president, that showed I was welcome. And in a funny way, for a 15, 16-year-old, that appeared to be good behavior. Looking back on it, it was probably pretty neurotic. It was based on insecurities anyway.
In the Brahma Kumari's philosophy of karma, we have actually a very deep philosophy in karma. And in our philosophy of karma, we get the return of our intentions of our actions. We don't get the return of just the action itself.
But the intention of the action. I see. So with that intention or the motivation behind the action is actually more important than the action in terms of the big picture of trust. And your relationship with the universe or with karma in general. What about, some people are well-intended, well-motivated, they really do want to walk the walk, but they're not deliverable. They promise more than they're frankly capable of. Does that happen? Have you encountered that?
A lot.
A lot?
But interestingly enough, I feel that once I became more reliable, those people just kind of left my life.
So your self-trust and your trust in the greater system makes you less dependent on the shaky foundation of other people for whatever reasons.
Right. Because I feel many times my own insecurity, wanted to believe things that weren't really there. I was too quick to trust something because of my own neediness.
Got it. So if I'm having trust issues, the first person I have to question is myself.
Because why am I so desperate to so quickly do it?
Yeah. Okay. So now, of course, as all things, most of life is projecting who we are on everybody else. So jumping too quickly into trusting or distrusting may be a sign that we're not taking care of our own business.
Yes, yes. And what I've noticed of my growth, my progress in trust over the years, is that I was able, that initially I felt I was surrounded by a few people who I really couldn't trust. I couldn't trust their word, but now it's less so. I mean, really, very rarely do people say something and not do something. But also, it could be because of my own faith in them. That I do have faith in them, and also it's my own pure feelings for people. That they don't really, if they say they're going to do something, they'll do it. They're not about to, because of my own pure feelings for them.
Exactly. So this is an interesting thing. If you're trusting out of neediness, what I hear you saying, then you're vulnerable. But if you have your open heart and I'm trusting that you can do it in that sincere way, then often people will rise to the occasion.
Right, right. And also I feel that what helped me in my journey on trust, because it's a very deep topic, it's a very personally, for me, it was a very personal journey that I had to go through, is that once I was really purely with a pure motive, intent on doing good for people, then more people came on board to do it. If anyone sensed any kind of selfishness in me, then people are not going to trust me.
So having any hidden agenda undermines trust.
Right, right.
So often
and people are much more intelligent than we give them credit for.
Absolutely.
They pick up on these things like that.
So our intuition somehow says, yeah, I know what they're saying, but I can't quite trust to, what they're up to.
Right, right.
So as so many things, having faith in the grander picture, faith in God, faith in the karmic cause and effect of good deeds, good thoughts, good feelings, having integrity where we walk our own walk, having pure intention and being motivated to help other people as well as help ourselves, because loving ourselves is part of loving other people. All of these make us more trustworthy and more easily trusting of other people.
Right. I have one last thing.
Yeah, good.
I don't know if we have time, but I have one last thing. I was thinking that to be able to trust myself, I have to understand how my thoughts work. Because when I understand how my thoughts work, because every reaction I have is because of my thoughts.
Right, absolutely.
And so if I understand how my thoughts work, then my trust improves. And that's what we use meditation for, to really understand how my thoughts work, because every reaction I have is based on my thoughts. So then I can easily trust myself.
So once you understand your thoughts, you get quiet enough to notice, then you start picking up on your own games before the universe has to judge it or take care of it.
Yes, and then I start trusting myself.
Ah, that's so nice. Thank you. I learned something on this conversation, especially in that last little bit I wasn't expecting. I hope you learned something this evening as well and enjoyed the talk as much as I enjoyed interviewing Shereen. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining us.